today I will be reviewing Shahs of Sunset Season 6, Episode 5. So the episode opens up where they're still in Israel and they all have a chance to pick a day's activity of what they're going to do that day. And so Asa was first. Now, it's no secret. Asa's kind of strange. I like her. I really do. But the girl's out there. She's a earthy kind of weirdo. Okay? I like her, but she's kind of weird. So she put together this plan where they went to this ancient city and they met with different spiritual leaders. And the purpose of this trip was to show how peace brings people together. Now, this is very much like Asa's personality. She's very open. She's very Zen. Even though she's Muslim, she's Zen. She's all about bringing people together. She's having a biracial baby. Love, 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 love. That's what Asa's personality is like. But here's the ironic thing about her trip. It was symbolic in a way. Because, Israel's not known. No shade to Israel, okay? I didn't create this reputation that they have. It's not known for being a peaceful place. Matter of fact, it's known for being a place full of suicide bombings, lots of terrorist attacks. They're forever fighting over the Gaza Strip. It's known to be a little violent, okay? Now, this is true. We're talking truth here. But the symbolic part of this is that in every country, every nationality, every situation, you could always find peace. Now, it's never going to be the majority of the population. That's why the world's such a screwed up place. But you always have those people that find peace and goodness in everything, in any situation. And that's awesome. I'm sure if I put her in a burning building, she would think of something positive to say. But it's very symbolic. And it really means that life is what you make it. If you want it to be a chaotic mess, it will be. If you want it to be a peaceful, uniting journey, it would be too. So that's what happened with Asa. She also made a documentary going around interviewing the locals, okay? So this place was supposed to be a mixed place, not just Jews, not just Arabs. It was supposed to be bicultural or bi-religious, whatever. And so she had this idea to go around and have people really tell their true feelings about how they feel about living in Israel and what they felt about religions and whatnot, because, Asa's out there. Remember she had the one thing where she covered her face, the art exposed she had? So she's out there. She's very earthy and creative. This sounded like a good idea on paper. But life isn't always about what's on paper. So they have this camera and they're running around town talking to people. And asking people, what religion are you? How do you feel about this and this? Well, for a good, little while they were just talking to themselves because nobody wanted to partake. What they found out is, this is when real life kicks in, because I said there's a small percentage of people like Asa. Everyone else is extremely polarizing. I don't care what country you're in, whatever, people are polarizing. And it's just life. It's just the way it is. So she found out that a lot of people didn't want to talk. The people that did talk, they asked them simple questions like, if the guy was Arab, would you ever date a Jew? Hell to the no. Now they didn't say hell because I don't think they have that in their language, but basically it was very segregated, even though it was supposed to be integrated. That's the word I'm looking for. It was an integrated neighborhood. And so that's when real life kicked in. More people than not are polarizing. I mean, it's everywhere you go. It's not just race. It could be finances. It could be, look at our Republicans and Democrats. Life is very polarizing. That's the majority of the people. Now, against his will, Mike started becoming very uncomfortable. okay, because they were interviewing a lot of Arabs, and he's Jewish, and he got very standoffish. He started looking around like someone's going to attack him because, you know, he's American and he's an American Jew. And that's another symbol of life. It's that it's very hard for people to open their minds without judging, hear someone out without preconceived ideas. You know, he really thought that they were about to get bombed or something, and nobody understood it. Gigi was like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, we gotta get out of here. No one wants to be interviewed. He was acting like an uptight asshole. Now, this really isn't his fault, because that's my phone. It really isn't his fault, because I think that it's a natural reaction to cling to what you know. But here's the symbolic thing. You have to push through that if you ever want to understand a different race, a different religion, a different sex, you know, because men are dumb sometimes. You know, you have to really push through that. So he tried his hardest and he did the best that he can do, but you know, easier said than done. So they're on their way back to the hotel preparing to go see Mike's family, and Mike and Gigi get in a heated conversation because she was like, what was wrong with you? Nothing was going to happen to you. And he was like, you don't know these people, you know, they could be easily offended. And she was like, so is it a Muslim thing? And there goes the religious wars again. I mean, it was clashing. That's very much like real life. I mean, it just is what it is. And so Gigi got extremely defensive because she felt like Mike was saying it was unsafe because they were around a lot of Muslims. And then he was getting defensive because he was saying, no, it has nothing to do with being a Muslim. You know, this place is known for, you know, violent episodes. So I guess it's in every country. It's insane. You've got to push through that if you want to grow as a person. So they head to Mike's family's house. So they get to Mike's family's house and they had a really good time. Lots of food, lots of family. It almost reminded me of when Reza went to his family's house on his dad's side in New York. You know, they had a really, really good time. The following day, they all go to Jerusalem. And there's this place called the Wall. It's a religious monument where you write down your wishes and you stick it in the cracks of these walls. Now, I've seen this so many times on television. Like, it's a really famous monument that a lot of people go to. I don't even believe President Obama went, and maybe President Trump. But it's a very, very famous monument. So you write down a wish, and then you can pray and, you know, and talk to God and, you know, and hope that your wish comes true. Okay, so this was Mike's activity that he planned to do. Now, this activity seems very loving on paper and non-threatening on paper, but when they get there, it was everything but non-threatening. Okay, so they divide up the women and the men, and the men pray on this side and the women pray on this side, and you have to wash, it's a ritual you go through. You have to wash your hands before you approach the wall. It sounded really peaceful, and in theory it's supposed to be peaceful. But here comes people's religious differences again. First of all, Shervin felt extremely uncomfortable being there. Like, he, you know, out of respect, you're supposed to put the like little Jewish hats on your head. I don't know what they're called. You know, they look like a tea, like a little plate. And he was just nervous. You could tell he didn't want to be there, but he kept trying to push through it. Gigi immediately realizes how they separated the men and the women. Like, she wasn't the only one that noticed. I noticed that too. They gave the women a much smaller place. Now, you know, different cultures, different things happen. You know, she said that she's used to that in the Middle East. That, you know, it's huge difference between being a man and a woman. Well, hell, we have that here. You know, men always get paid more than women. We have that here, you know, too. So, So that's what she noticed right away. And as the episode unfolded, Shervin and Gigi got more and more uncomfortable. I guess they started thinking about, and this is what happened. This is how people get stuck in ruts. You blame an entire country for something a couple jackasses have done, or something that politicians have done. I mean, I understand what they were feeling, but everybody has to have an awesome moment and realize, but that's not how all of the world is, and life is what you make it. And so if you want to embrace another culture or understand a different culture, then you have to let down your walls. But Shervin and Gigi were having the hardest time. And then Gigi even seen that over the wall was a Muslim mosque. And she felt really, really bad. So, I like this episode. This episode was extremely symbolic. So, besides that, there really wasn't too much else going on besides Reza had like a total, complete jackass moment. Now, I like Reza, but sometimes he's just over the top. So, Asa was having her pregnancy issues. You're sensitive to smells, you get aches and pains. And he was like, you're not the only bitch that was pregnant and you traveled. I wish you could get pregnant, Reza. Then maybe you would understand, like, jackass moment, complete jackass moment. But that's pretty much what happened with this episode. It was really good and really symbolic in a lot of ways. So, I hate to be the moral of the story type person, but the moral of the story is that if you want peace, you will find peace. And it starts with letting down your guard and being open and willing to listen. I mean, I never thought I'd sound like my mom. It's scaring the hell out of me. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.